Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the April 28th special meeting of the Village Board of Trustees. Will everyone please rise for the pledge of the flag? I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And will the deputy clerk please call the roll?
Trustee Giordano.
Present.
Trustee Quigley.
Present.
Trustee Luisi.
Present.
Trustee Alfasi.
Present.
Mayor Eklund.
I am here tonight, and before we get started, we have a very special guest that I'd actually like to ask to come on up. Our Eastchester Town Councilman Joe Dooley has dropped in tonight, and if you come on up, he's going to talk to us just a little bit. It's not on our schedule, but I think it's a very important subject.
Special guest.
Very special.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and trustees. Actually, I'm not here as a town councilman. I'm actually on the committee for the Eastchester 350 celebration. And there's just a couple things I just want to highlight to the community here. We've made some announcements in Eastchester, but I want to make sure that everybody in Tuckahoe is also aware of some of the things that are happening imminently. I'll try to keep this short, less than 3 minutes, 50 seconds, thereabouts. But I just want to let everybody know that there's a couple of key events that are happening in the next couple of months. A town-wide mailing was sent out recently to all the homes, all the apartment buildings. So everybody should have received the mailing by now. So there is a gala that's going to take place at Siwanai Country Club on May 31st, which is a Friday night. And at the gala, we'll have music, we'll have food, drink, a lot of the displays of some of the school activities that have taken place already will be on display at the gala. So there'll be a lot of good activities taking place at the gala on the 30th. So if you're interested in coming, please send in your forms as soon as possible. There's limited space. It's going to sell out quick, so please send it in. Also, on the 21st of June, we're going to have a big community festival up at Lake Isle. And we're going to have an open pool from 12 to 6 o'clock. We're going to have a golf outing in the morning from 8 to noon or 8 to 1, shotgun golf outing. Registration for that is required. During the day, we're going to shut down the golf course. We're going to have a festival on the grounds of Lake Isle. We're going to have music. We're going to have pony rides. We're going to have food. We're going to have a lot of activities. It's going to be family focused, so bring the kids. Bring the family, bring the picnic baskets, the blankets. It's going to be a fun day. Pray for good weather, but it should be a really good event. There's also a couple other events I just want to highlight. On June 24th is the actual anniversary, and that's a Tuesday. So there'll be some activities around town, probably more, ceremonial type activities. So more to come on those. There'll probably be something at Town Hall and other places around town. And on June 29th, which is a Sunday, there will be trolley tours, historical trolley tours. And I don't know if anyone here has taken one of those trolley tours, but they're really incredible.
They are.
They go around town. They go to historical sites. There'll be people in costume there, so it'll be a lot of fun. And just one other thing, also in the mailing that went out, there was a form to secure a copy of the book that's being prepared for this 350th anniversary. It's going to be a great book, a big coffee table book, a lot of pictures, a lot of maps, and some stories on the history of the town. So really a good book. So please take a look at the material. If you don't have it handy, or you lost it, or you didn't get it for some reason, you can get copies at Town Hall, Eastchester Town Hall, or you can go to our website, which is eastchester350.org. And there's already a lot of great stuff out there.
And we'll take some of your applications down here, too.
Okay, good.
If you
We'll
like.
send some down then. That'd be great.
Good.
Appreciate that. So that's what I wanted to get across. And also, we have a commemorative pin that I want to hand out to you guys here tonight.
Well, thank you.
So get you guys in the spirit. So here we go. Thank you very much for your time.
Well, thank you. It's an awful lot of work. I appreciate everything that you're doing
Thank you, Joe.
for the celebration also.
Weird all the time.
Thank you,
We will. Thank you.
Thanks, Joe. Great.
Thank you
you.
very much.
Appreciate that.
Well, they don't think it's my age.
or wear it with pride. Thank you very much.
Don't.
Just to get our meeting started tonight, we have just a couple of resolutions. The first one of which is Resolution Number 1, which is adopting the budget for the fiscal year June 1, 2014 to May 31, 2015. Do I have a motion for that?
So moved.
And do I have a second?
Second.
And I'm going to start off with some of the discussions. We're going to have our treasurer talk about this as well. This year's budget process was a little bit smoother than it has been in the past couple of years. Some of this can be attributed to the hard work and choices we've made over the past few years, and some can be attributed to an improving economy. But most of all, what we're seeing is a very positive shift in the desirability of our community. Tuckahoe has been discovered as a very safe and desirable place to live and raise a family. The tremendous investment we're witnessing at both ends of the village are proof to me that there's a recognition of these great qualities that we possess. And now other people see this as well. In this year's budget process, we met 8 times, mostly on Saturdays. We had a public hearing on this budget, which was open at our last month's meeting, and it was closed after the end of that meeting. We posted our tentative budget on March 20th, which had a 5.44% increase in the tax levy. We continued to work on the budget, and we brought this number down to 1.47%, which keeps us below the New York State tax cap for the 3rd straight year in a row. The increase of 1.47% means that an average single-family homeowner will see their village property tax bill increase by $108 per year. This year, with the property tax freeze having been adopted by the state, what we're going to now do is adopt local legislation repealing the property tax cap override. I know this is a little technical, but what this means is that the state should be sending us a refund check back to the average single-family homeowner for this $108. So in essence, everyone should have a 0 increase in their village tax bill this year. And that's partly due to the fact that we have done our job in making sure that we stayed under the limit or under the levy. And we've also gone through the steps that the state legislature has required us to do, some of which we still have to do, and we'll wrap that process up in the middle of June. Some of the significant highlights in this year's budget, upcoming budget, are we have, for the first time in 4 years, given a 2% raise to our employees who are not covered under a collective bargaining agreement. We've created the position of village administrator, and we have contingency funding available for this position after we have gone through the hiring search and selection process. On the revenue side of our balance sheet, we have some increases of 5% increase in our sales tax receipts. We have about a 25% increase in our rents right here at Village Hall, and that's due to the multi-year structuring of the Andrus lease. When we initially set it up, they needed a little bit of relief in the very early years, year 1 and 2 of their program, and some of the higher rents start kicking in right about now, and that'll continue for the next couple of years. We continue to see an increase in our building department fees due not only to the larger developments coming in, but we're seeing an increase in the 1 and 2 family home improvement projects throughout the village. I guess people are now finding it affordable to make these investments in their own properties. We've made some minor changes to the parking fines to bring us in line with our neighboring communities, but we are not increasing the commuter parking lot fees this year. We've seen already and anticipate over the next budget year a very large jump in fees associated with programs down at our community center. This is all thanks to our new recreation attendant, John Galuzzi. I was actually down there with him today for a little bit of time, talking about some of the new programs, and there's quite a bit of new revenue that's actually streaming in now from his efforts there. On the expense side of our balance sheet, we're realizing some increases in, first of all, the overall police budget has increased by only 1.57%. We've eliminated the United Water fire hydrant rental costs, since United Water is now going to be required to collect those fees on their own. The New York State retirement bill is going up by about 3% in this next budget. And this year, we're picking up some additional debt payment expenses due to some bond repayments that we have to make. So all in all, it's a well-thought-out and manageable budget. And with that, I'm going to ask my colleagues on the board, if there is any additional discussion on this motion. We'll start with Tom.
Thank you, Mayor Steve. I think you covered the process and the most of the notes that I had very well. I have very little to add. I think a couple of things that continue to be challenging are the tax cert payouts. They've leveled off a little bit, but they continue to be an expense that we have that's been ongoing for the past few years. Another thing that I think that we did in the budget that was good is we set up and really we turned a challenge into an opportunity, and I think that is with our DPW equipment, where we do have some aging equipment that needs to be replaced, and we're really trying to set up a program where we invest in it year after year so that eventually over time we're going to be able to eliminate some of the maintenance expenditures that would otherwise be covered under a warranty. I think that you have to have a capital expenditure plan where you spend wisely every year in order to derive those benefits, and I think we've set the stage for doing that, and I think that's smart and should continue. We do have the benefit of, unlike last year where we had the headwinds of pension overruns, or I should say underfunding of pensions. We didn't have that headwind this year, and we had instead a tailwind of revenue coming in from 3 significant developments going on in the village. I think those were, have been very beneficial to us in the short term, and once they're stabilized, as I had mentioned in the last meeting, will turn into annual revenue to the village. So that will be an ongoing benefit to us as well. That doesn't come without its challenges as well. We'll have additional traffic, we'll have additional people, other things to deal with, but all in all, I think it's good to develop smartly and and I think it's a step in the right direction. I think we were, as you said, rewarded for some difficult decisions that we made last year, and I think those are continuing to pay off, and it's nice to be able to give a raise to our non-CBA employees who have been doing such a good job and working so hard over these past years. So I think all in all, hard work to what I see to be a very successful outcome.
Thank you very much. Trustee Quigley?
Thank you, Mayor. I just need to, of course, echo the comments by both the mayor and Trustee Giordano. It was a very painstaking but congenial and collaborative process in coming up with the budget. I think we arrived at a fair budget, and for my particular concerns, 2 things stand out. One is that we were able to maintain the high level of services that people in Tuckahoe have gotten used to and gotten to appreciate. We've not had to have any cuts in any of the services provided by any of the village departments, and I think that's always a positive sign. And in my own pet department with library, we will expect to see some additional Saturday hours with a little bit of increased funding for the library budget. So all that is very positive. I think we've got a good budget going forward. We're careful with the extra funding that's come in through the building permit fees. We're planning beyond just this 1 year, and I think it'll be smooth sailing going forward. So I'm very, I'm proud of the work we did. I appreciate the great work that has been done by the members of the board here, especially by the mayor. John Pinto's giving us all the number crunching. It's been a good process, and I think we can be proud of our accomplishments. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Luisi?
Thank you, Mayor. Am I on? Now I'm on. Sorry. Thank you, Mayor. Fortunately, I will be echoing what my colleagues have said before me, and I have a prepared statement that reads as follows. The 2004-2015 budget represents the hard work of this village board in conjunction with its department heads, and once again presenting the taxpayers of Tuckahoe with a budget that this year is under the 1.64% tax cap. This has been done without compromising the safety and security of its residents or without a reduction in essential services. Most importantly, the budget was not balanced on the back of our village's dedicated workforce. We were able to continue our commitment to the police and DPW departments in maintaining a fleet of vehicles that now has reduced our repair expenditures to a reasonable rate. Our police department will still be provided with the funds so that all of its members receive the most up-to-date training and equipment. The infrastructure and roads of the village will continue to be maintained by our DPW despite this past harsh winter. The library has been allocated sufficient funds to return its Saturday hours to a full-day schedule. The community center continues to flourish with new programs, with many more planned for the coming year. For me, one of the most significant line items in this budget was the ability of this board to acknowledge the hard work of our non-union employees who have worked for several years without a pay increase. We anticipate sales tax and building permit revenue to increase as a result of our upswing in the economy, as well as the many projects that will be undertaken in the village in 2014-2015. We are also fortunate that this year's pension and health care costs have finally leveled off to manageable single-digit increases. This board will not sit back on its laurels because the village is sailing on smooth seas. Going forward, we remain committed to preserving the integrity and financial health of the village so that all of our residents and businesses will continue to prosper and flourish. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Sailing on smooth seas, I like that. I like that a lot. Steve Alfasi.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm going to just say a couple of words here real quick. I'm not going to repeat everything my colleagues said tonight. I don't think I could add much more to it. However, I do want to, as I did say last month, want to congratulate the members of this board. And I'll say all my colleagues here and Trustee Jeanette Hayes, they were the ones who did the real heavy lifting when it came to creating this budget, keeping us below our tax cap, which is a wonderful, wonderful job. And the whole village should celebrate tonight. We really should celebrate tonight because we're in good shape. As a village, we're in good shape. And especially compared to many, many municipalities across New York State and across our nation. We're doing a good job, and you all deserve the credit for that. But don't get too big of a head, because tomorrow starts
That's right.
2015, 2016 budget. But anyway, congratulations. I look forward to voting for this budget.
Thank you, very kind. Just finally, to wrap up the discussion portion of this motion, I'm going to ask our treasurer, John Pintos, if he'd come on up and just wrap this up so we can vote on this budget.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and the board. There's absolutely nothing I can add to what you gentlemen have already espoused up there, but in brief, the budget document you're about to vote on tonight is the culmination of a lot of hard work, tough decisions by the mayor, the board, department heads, and even the staff. We have a very talented staff throughout the village, and I'm sure their input was given to their department heads and was acted upon. I'm not going to say the future is bright and rosy, but there's definitely a lot of light at the end of the tunnel, and it's not an oncoming locomotive either. The economy, especially in Westchester, seems to be doing fairly well, as evidenced by 5 or 6 quarters of increased sales taxes and a proposed increase for sales taxes that we'll be receiving in May. As Trustee Louisi pointed out, the pension is flattening out. Should stay that way for a number of years since the market has done well for about 3 years in a row. That'll be of immense help. And the new building projects that have come by, the ones that are shovel in the ground or near shovel in the ground, in conjunction with those that look very promising for the future in a couple of years. The main, I think, thing we achieved was keeping services at a level that our villagers have come to expect out of us. They've and it was done, and it'll continue to be done for the future. Trustee Alfasi said we'll be working on the 15-16 budget tomorrow. I think we'll give ourselves 4 days off and start next Monday. I think that's enough. But otherwise, I want to congratulate everybody that was involved in the process. We stayed within the 1.47 mandate from Albany. And again, the future looks good for the village of Tuckahoe.
Well, thank you very much. And with that, I'm going to ask for a roll call on this motion.
Trustee Giordano.
In favor.
Trustee Quigley.
In favor.
Trustee Luisi.
Favor.
Trustee Alfasi.
In favor.
Mayor Eklund.
In favor. We have a couple other items that we put on our agenda tonight, most importantly because they kind of tie into our thought process throughout getting this budget put together tonight. So the first item here is resolution number 2, which is a resolution scheduling a public hearing on amending the village code of the Village of Tuckahoe to create a new chapter thereto entitled Village Administrator. Do I have a motion for this?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
And I'm going to discuss, there's been a lot of talk about this, but now we're moving forward in the process of actually hiring a village administrator. One of the things this village has lacked is the steady-handed presence of a village administrator. The role of the administrator will be to respond to and hold accountable all the village departments on a daily basis and report to and meet with the mayor and the board of trustees on a fairly regular basis as well. The administrator will oversee and maintain daily accountability of the department heads and be in a position to respond to their needs on an hourly basis when the village offices are open. The village board and I have seen firsthand over the past year the ever-changing requirements that every municipality has to adhere to, and we want to make sure that we protect the administrative stability of the business functions of the village moving forward in the future. The administrator will oversee and maintain daily control of the operations of the village and make sure that we meet all of the deadline requirements, and will also take charge of a whole host of projects and policy procedures and changes that can only be implemented, carried through, and monitored by an administrator. There's been an awful lot of brilliant ideas that have come out of board members over the last year or so, and we recognize that the only way that we can actually get some of these great thoughts processed and implemented is going to be through the village administrator's stewardship. Tuckahoe is one, if not the only, village in Westchester that doesn't already have a village administrator. This was also a recommendation from our Citizens Budget Advisory Committee in their report last year. I want to thank Mr. Scalzo for that recommendation as well, too. We're also we're in a very fortunate position right now to be able to piggyback on the search and hiring process for this job, since Bronxville has just completed the same process, and we're going to have the benefit of some excellent and fresh candidates that will fit a municipality of the size of ours, which is also the same size of Bronxville's. So this is a perfect time. The timing, everything is just kind of lined up for us. And we have contingency funding that we've set aside in our budget to cover this expense. And one of the things that we have, or certainly I have said for many years, that I've always believed that the expense of the salary of a village administrator is one that really is going to be offset by the tremendous efficiencies that that individual will go ahead and implement, and in all aspects of the business operations of the village. So with that, I guess I'm going to ask if there's any other comments from the board. Yes.
I think we'll save comments maybe for the public hearing. I'll have some comments.
Sure,
then, but that might
absolutely.
be more appropriate
Okay.
time, so we'll do that at the hearing.
Roll call?
Trustee Giordano.
In favor.
Trustee Quigley.
In favor.
Trustee Luisi.
In favor?
Trustee Alfasi.
In favor.
Mayor Eklund.
In favor. Resolution number 3 tonight is authorizing the mayor to sign a professional services agreement with Donald P. Mara, municipal consultant of 30 Maplewood Avenue, Dobbs Ferry, New York, for search and consultant services in connection with the search, interview, and the hiring processes for a village administrator at a cost not to exceed $6,900. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
And just to let everyone know, this is the gentleman, we've already met with him, and he's the one who handled the process in Bronxville. So we were very satisfied with his presentation to us.
Trustee Giordano.
In favor.
Trustee Quigley.
In favor.
Trustee Luisi.
In favor?
Trustee Alfasi.
In favor.
Mayor Eklund.
In favor. Resolution number 4 is a resolution authorizing a home rule message request to the state legislature in support of a Village of Tuckahoe hotel/motel occupancy tax. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
And I've had a couple of people ask me, actually, one of the reporters called me today and asked me about this item on our agenda. There has been an awful lot of talk about a hotel moving into the Village of Tuckahoe. There is chatter, and there's been now some serious conversation about the land, the developer of the property on Marbledale Road, about the potential of a hotel going in on that large open tract of land that's down there, which is the last open tract of land in our community. So our plan here is that we want to take the steps to be able to capture as much revenue as we can from a new business hotel that comes in. You're allowed to go ahead and assess a room tax or a hotel occupancy tax. We kind of thought it was going to be a lot of money in a short period of time. Turns out it's not. It's only about 3%, I believe. And it takes, believe it or not, years in order to get this item passed through the state legislature. So we're going to start the process now. If it takes 3 or 5 years, whenever it does take effect, it'll be on the books. I've given it a little bit of thought lately, and when a hotel became a permitted use in the zoning category that land has years ago, I actually kind of wish that we had started the process back then, so we would have been in a better spot to go ahead and assess or have this on our books. But be that as it may, it's something that we're going to go ahead and see if we can get done. There are some other municipalities in Westchester that have been waiting 5 years to get this approved, and they're still waiting. So we'll see what happens with us. Like I said, we don't have a specific application in our building department for a hotel yet. I know that I've had one meeting with the landowner developer down there about the possibility of it, and seems that they're still in conversation, so we'll see. As soon as the building department gets word that there's an application on their desk for a hotel, the residents will be the next to know. So with that, a roll call, please.
Trustee Giordano.
In favor.
Trustee Quigley.
In favor.
Trustee Luisi.
In favor?
Trustee Alfasi.
In favor.
Mayor Eklund.
In favor. Resolution number 5, our last resolution tonight, is a resolution authorizing the advertising of public bids in connection with the Fisher Avenue Lot construction project for the year 2014. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Trustee Giordano.
In favor.
Trustee Quigley.
In favor.
Trustee Luisi.
In favor?
Trustee Alfasi.
In favor.
Mayor Eklund.
In favor. And I want to thank everyone for coming out tonight and watching us. So with there being no other business, I'm going to ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Until next time, Tuckahoe, have a very good evening.